What is up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? So I got a couple of Q&As I want to do this morning on my drive. First one came from my boy, Dedication Simon. If you don't know who he is, Chris and Simon have a YouTube channel in the UK. I posted this on my Instagram. So guys, by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's just Entrepreneurs and Cars. Follow me there for regular updates and stuff. But Simon, you know, he's a cool guy. He's the other half of the Dedication blog. Chris is really busy these days fixing cars and breaking cars. Chris, what's up? And Simon threw this question at me. Do you think it's better to be an inventor or an innovator when it comes to business? So for example, inventing a new sector or innovating on an old one. All right, let's go for a drive, because I'm Canadian, that's how my shit rolls, you know. All right, so innovate or invent. Well, what are the differences? Let's have a chat about that shit. Okay, so inventing is obviously creating something brand spanking new. That would be something like Uber. But at the same time, an Uber is also an innovation because it takes from the taxi business, fixes the flaws that suck, and make it way, way better. You can see tons of inventions if you go to Indiegogo, Kickstarter, a whole bunch of new wicked stuff that comes out of the blue. Now, the interesting thing about inventions is they're way fucking harder, if I'm being honest. They're way harder than innovating in an existing space. Personally, myself, Simon, I like to kind of hybrid the both. So I want to be, if I'm going to do something, I want to be at least 2 times better than what's already out there. A lot of traffic this morning. I want to be at least 2 times better than what's already out there. So I don't also want to get into a space that is not proven. A good buddy of mine is a lawyer slash entrepreneur, Zach. He calls it Greenfielding, and he doesn't like to get into businesses where they're brand spanking new. So Greenfielding. So he tries to avoid getting into spaces that are brand spanking new. They're unproven. There's no existing players in this space that are already doing something. Basically, the meaning and the reason behind it is, why do you want to go and beat a brand new path when you can innovate on an existing one and potentially make it better? Which makes sense. What I did with my debt negotiation business was I kind of hybrid the other thing. I innovated and I invented. In Canada, there was nobody really doing debt negotiation on a large scale, certainly to the scale that I was. There was the odd, you know, guy that would do it one-off. I think the biggest player that I had met, he was out in Thailand and working through the night, Canadian guy, and he was doing Canadian debt negotiation. So when I built up the company, I wanted to make sure that it had a competitive advantage. It was at least a couple of times better than what was already out there. And it was, because it beat out bankruptcy, consumer proposals, and credit counseling, and that sort of stuff. But I also wanted to make sure that it was innovative enough that it offered a big differentiating factor. So my answer to that question, Simon, is it really depends on what you've got the appetite for. Inventing is a long, arduous process. You could go and put something out there that, just because it's so brand spanking new, it may not get adopted because it's so different. Even though it might be better, it just may not get adopted. You know, you got things like Bitcoin. I talked about Bitcoin recently in a previous video, where it has use, but I personally don't believe it'll ever be adopted mainstream because banks and government can't control or print that type of currency. So really, again, you know, it depends on the appetite that you have and what you'd like to do and what you'd like to get out of it. I'd like to hear some more from you guys if you feel that innovating or inventing is better and what you've done from experience. Throw a comment below in the video and let me know. Thanks for the question, Simon. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.